This is the Longines Majetek. This is an historic aviation piece. And honestly, I was never really that interested in this watch when Longines announced it in 2023. But I have had some time with this black dial version, and I can honestly say I've come away impressed. And it might have been because of that personal apathy I had, but this watch comes across as surprisingly cool, very well made, very interesting. And after handling it in person and seeing the details, I wouldn't mind buying one. Now, this is a modern homage of a pilot watch that Longines made for the Czechoslovak Air Force back in the 1930s. So the design is approaching 100 years old, which I think is awesome. Majetek is short for Majetek Vojenské Správy, which I'm sorry if I totally butchered that, but that translates to property of the military in Czech. So technically, this watch translates to the Longines property, which is kind of silly, but I think Majetek is an appropriate name for this watch. Now, the side of the cushion case has a plaque that's screwed on that has 1935 engraved in it, and that signifies the first year of this watch being supplied to the Czechoslovak Air Force. They had a few different brands supply watches to them in that time period. The Czech military had requested a pilot's watch that had a movable reference point, and that's why you see a loomed triangle in the original, but also here on this modern recreation. And you'll see a lot of other design similarities with this modern homage. I like the fact that it's not a straight up reissue. It's not a 1-to-1 recreation like some heritage releases are. I think those have their place in the market, but I think this modern take has its own place in the market. It takes the main design cues, which I find a railroad track, a subsidiary seconds complication, large Arabic markers, a fluted bezel, and that cushion case. It takes these elements and injects a slightly modern flair to the overall package. And so you see the inspiration come across. And in this sense, it's a true homage. And it's the kind of homage that I like to see. A brand celebrating its own archives. And Longines has some extensive archives. They have a lot of amazing source material to draw from. And they're not celebrating the accomplishments of other watch brands, competing brands, and their most popular models. And so I think this, again, is a true homage that I like to see. Thank you to Exquisite Timepieces for lending this watch in for a presentation. I've worked with Exquisite for years in buying watches from them, in reviewing watches that they carry. They have over 60 brands, everything from Longines to Seiko to Breguet, Glashütte Original, Tudor, you name it. They're an awesome AD. If you're shopping for a Longines, I recommend them, and a link is below. Now, let's take a look at this watch on my wrist. It is big, and I love that. I think the market needs more large sport watches, and that might be a contrarian point of view. The original watch that Longines made for the Czechoslovak military, that was sized at 40 millimeters, which was absolutely massive for that era in the 1930s. It's slightly scaled up at 43 millimeters, and considering the trend going to smaller watches, this might feel like an absolutely massive watch to many, but that's how the original was. This plays more like a 44 millimeter sport piece because of this cushion case, the beefy crown guards, that 51.4 millimeter lug tip to lug tip dimension. And again, I am all for this. 13.2 millimeters in total height, and that's to the top of this proud box crystal, this sapphire crystal with very solid ARC. And I seem to say this in every video, but excellent ARC makes such a difference to the end user experience. So I love to see that here on this Majetek. Now, the case back is simple. It's brushed. It has a military feel to it. There is no decorative hourglass logo. There is no medallion. There's no pop and polish back here. It's just a few lines about the brand, the model, its specs, and some reference numbers. So I think that feels very nicely on this specific military inspired, I can't talk, this military inspired piece. Now inside the case is a chronometer certified ETA that is the L893.6 movement. It has a silicone balance spring. It has 3 days of power reserve. It beats 25,200 times every hour and has 26 different joules. This particular version of the ETA caliber has a subsidiary seconds complication, and you can operate the crown at the 3 o'clock position. Very nice winding action, very nice setting action. The crown is thread down, and the watch has 100 meters of water resistance. Now, going in on the dial, this has a simple matte black dial with a very small, gritty overall texture, very subtle there. The Arabic markers are large. They have nice height or dimension to them. The handset is long. The white printing is clean. Overall, this is a legible, symmetrical dial with sharp lume. I know not everybody likes the kind of faux Tina aged lume look, but in low light conditions, it does glow very well. It has good longevity. Now, rounding out the watch, this has a brown calf leather strap with cream contrast stitching and a very sharp Longines signed buckle that has a polished edge, which ties in nicely with this Majetek case. Now, going to the retail price, $3,850, which honestly I think is a lot. It's a little steep for a COSC certified Longines without a bracelet. You can find chronographs from this brand for a similar price, or possibly even a lesser price than this. So the price is a bit high, but I think Longines sees this watch as more of an affordable option for the watch collector looking for an historic aviation piece like maybe an IWC Big Pilot or a Zenith Pilot Type 20, or thinking outside the box, the first aviation piece, a Cartier Santos, a Santos de Cartier. Would I change anything about this watch, about this Majetek? I think it is a little bit of a missed opportunity. I think it would have been awesome if Longines used their vintage styled font for this branding. I think it might have made it feel a little more special, but other than that, no. I love this size. I love the fit, the finish, the dial details. I enjoy the movement, the anti-magnetic chronometer certified movement. I like the overall design. I think this is versatile. I think this is robust. And this could realistically be used as an everyday sport watch. The quality is noticeable on this piece. And once again, Longines demonstrates how good their heritage line is. So yes, this is a watch that I would absolutely wear. Though if I bought this, I'd probably be playing a lot with different strap options, different leather colors, maybe even a Milanese mesh from time to time to bling it up and accentuate the stainless steel. Thank you again to Exquisite Timepieces for lending this in for the presentation. If you're shopping Longines, I recommend Exquisite. You're welcome to reach out to my own personal sales associate, Joe. I've linked his contact information below. Let me know if you have any questions. I'll do my best to answer those questions. Please like this video if you enjoyed it and subscribe to my channel for more watch content like this. Thanks.